All right. Uh, Today is Thursday, September 26th. Today I did not trade at all. Um, Reason being is I will show you real quick. Uh, it's not loading. Bro, I've been having this problem, bro. It's just none of my shit loads ever. Actually, if I tap it here, does that load? All right. So Thursday we had final GDP and unemployment claims, which normally love that shit. But then we had Powell speaking at 9:20, which ruined everything. When Powell speaks, it depends on what he says. If he says something, like it can completely change when people buy or sell in that day. Um, and I'll touch more up on that because I just read a part of the trading zone that like correlated perfectly with today and not trading. And um yeah, yeah. Um I'll still go over. I haven't even looked. I barely looked at the charts today. So I'm just gonna go over see if there's any opportunities that I could have taken. Uh, but yeah. Oh yeah. So I remember right off rip. We had these data lows at highs. Highs were swept, right? And then pre-market chart started to show some bearish structure. So yeah, we swept that high. We are inside of this daily fair value gap. So another thing to add is that we completed all of our weekly objectives. So everything is basically lower probability. Everything was hit that the market needs to do. So whatever it's doing now is just, creating the power of three candle for the weekly time frame. So weekly, I just expect more of a retrace. Um, but yeah, no, if it I'm just gonna let it do what it wants to do because right now it's respecting these order blocks consistently. If you go in 1 minute, I mean 1 hour, it's a lot easier to see. You have all these order blocks, right? You have this order block right here, respected. You have this order block right here, respected. And now we have this order block right here, and we're respecting it. So we just keep respecting these bullish PD rays. So honestly, I'm expecting probably to go up. And looking at the daily, this is like the last thing that's going to inverse before we get to all-time highs. So I'm expecting either next week or the week after that to probably reach all-time highs. We're already there on the S&P, but not yet on the Nasdaq. So because Nasdaq is just weaker. But yeah, so that's just like the overview for overall. But yeah, going into market open today, let's see if there was anything I could have taken. Oh yeah, I was looking at this, right? So uh we had this market structure shift right here. This displacement below that, and we had this fair value gap. Was pre-market. I don't take pre-market trades, I wait for market open. But we just kept displacing lower, and then we had this fat fair value gap right here. We tapped into a displace lower, but off the market open, I'm just expecting more volatility. And what it did was it swept out. Well, let me check on ESC if there's an SMT because that would make a lot of sense if this high right here was swept. Uh, um, yeah, what do you know? Swept. So we got this sweep liquidity, SMT right here inside this fair value gap. And I wouldn't expect price to go higher because we swept everything. We're in that daily imbalance, and I am expecting some sort of rejection at some point. And so we had what off the market open, we created an SMT inside of this for value gap. So as soon as I saw some sort of rejection, I probably would have entered. Uh, I don't know. It's very hard for an entry right here. But let's just say I entered at the fair value gap, right? 25-point stop. Oh, actually, no, I wouldn't even use that. Use a 16-point stop, and I would have targeted data lows, first take profit. Second take profit would have been London lows, and then third one would have been Asia. So overall, it would have netted almost 15 RR on the day. So Hindsight would have been a good trade. It would have been okay. Um, my new trading model that I'm following, I'm following specific rules and I'm trying to master. I only trade during the macro times. So if we look at the macro time, which is uh, let's mark this bit out. No, 9:45 to 10:15. Okay. Um, yeah, could have entered on this for a rally gap. Kept getting displacement. We just swept these London lows though, so I would not have been confident until we got another market structure shift. Which it really wouldn't have been a shift. It's just been a displacement through a low. As soon as I saw another displacement through a low with a fair value gap, would have been right here. That would have been my entry. Yeah, that's only fair value gap. And then stops above these highs. Uh-oh, no. Stops above those highs and then targeted Asia lows. So if I did my strategy and I didn't just do off of my market knowledge, would have netted 5.41 RR. Pretty good. Um, what else? During I want to see if there's a trade inside of this macro too. Seems like there might have been. Actually, I think there was. Yeah. Okay, so we got displacement through another low. Actually, no, there wasn't. Because we already swept it inside the macro, so I wouldn't expect price to really go lower from there. I could expect it to reverse from there. Support and resistance. Yeah. And then yeah, PM session. If Powell wasn't speaking, my mentor dude would have been like, I'll see what the PM session offers. But like we completed the objective of the day. We swept out London lows, the news lows, we swept out Asia lows, and we just started chopping after. So as soon as I seen this chop, just sideways action, none of the action for the rest of that day is gonna be good. So didn't take anything. Um yeah. But yeah, going back to this and like why I didn't trade today. Um basically what I read today in my book was that trading, like being a trader and also being like the house in a casino, right? They're very similar. You can split trades and like let's say hands, right? You can split them into two things, which is individual probability, which is the probability of each hand is separate. So the next hand you get, it's going to be a completely different probability. It's still going to be the same probability as the last one. Doesn't matter if you won the last one, you still have the same chance to win the next hand. Um, and it applies to trading too. If you have a win rate or whatever, that's over a huge set. So you have the individual set and you have the um like set over time basically. And so over time you will be profitable, but you don't know if like for the individual hands if you are going to, have a streak of losses or a streak of wins or something like that. Any of that could happen. But you just know in the long term you will be profitable. So with this model that I have, I know in the long term I will be profitable, but I just need to recognize when I have the highest probability of the pattern that I want to actually like execute correctly. Um, Today would have been a less probability because when Fed Chair Powell speaks, I the other people that are trading, it is less reliable that they will trade the way I want them to trade in order to profit off of them. So I'm not going to be putting risk on that day. Did it have a good model to trade today? Yes, it did. I would have taken that on a normal day if there wasn't that news, but just because there was that news, there was a lower chance of me winning. Right? Casinos, they have an advantage of around 4.5%, right? So they and they just, have the same exact games or whatever, and over a set amount of time, they know that they will approximately profit around 4.5% like every year. I know I will be netting much more than that. But like I just know that if I have already a lower percent chance of winning that trade, why would I give into that and I'm more likely to give away my money, you know? There's no reason for me to do that. I should just wait to stick to the highest probability trades and what the actual plan says the profits are. If that makes sense. Like if my win rate is 80%, I'm gonna take the conditions that are under the 80% win rate. This is not under that condition. So there's no reason for me to take that. Tomorrow, it is a Friday. Mondays and Fridays are less likely for a higher win rate, but I'm going to trade it because it has 8:30 red folder news, and if it has red news, price action is normally a little bit better. We'll see because the weekly objectives are already taken today. Well, throughout the week, I guess. So we'll see how price is, but if I'm seeing good action, I will put my normal risk on the table and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But that's it for today. See ya.